I am a gay man who's in his mid-30s, and I am 35 days away from getting married. Probably one of the most pivotal moments in my life, especially considering I went so long in my life, especially if you followed me for years, knowing that, either there would be some legality getting in the way of getting married or just, my horrible track record with dating in the past. But I have been with this person for 7 years and we are finally making it happen. And I'm really grateful that it's going to be a beautiful day surrounded by people who I know are loving and supportive. So the reason I'm bringing this up is because like even though it's 2025 and I'm in my mid 30s and I've like done all of this hard work, like in therapy and all of that jazz, trying to make sense of myself and my mental health, I'm still learning new things about gay loneliness and how gay loneliness impacts me to this day. And honestly, how like it really just permeates the LGBTQ plus community as a whole on a very deep level. And I think the recent resurgence in some, concerning politics and rhetoric has probably exasperated an already pretty significant issue. So for me personally, my big struggle is over the past 5 years, I feel like there's been so many political divisions created in this country specifically. And I think that those divisions have widened the gulfs between LGBTQ plus people and their families, oftentimes, where a family may have, done work to become accepting and all of that, but then like we get somebody in power or something else happens that emboldens like those small threads of like, you know, prior biases, then like just kind of inflames them again to the extent where like those people just kind of backtrack on that support and backtrack on that allyship or demonstrate that that allyship might be just performative from the get-go. And I've really been wrapping my mind around this because I don't know, I don't know if I would characterize my relationship with family as being strong right now because of this reality. And it's become far more apparent to me the closer we get to our wedding of these gulfs that have reaffirmed themselves. And I was talking to my therapist recently, and I was just like, am I to blame for this? Like, is this like, was I just looking at the last 15 to 20 years of work I've done as like an educator and as somebody who likes to have conversations about like connection and building bridges? Like, did I just wear these rose tinted glasses and just ignore the fact that maybe people who claimed to be supportive were just telling me what I wanted to hear? And thankfully, like, she helped me unpack the fact that it's a far more complex situation than just that. And that, you know, I did put a lot of time and effort in, and probably far more time and effort than people deserved from me, far more energy than people deserved. And now I have to kind of like weigh into consideration, like, now that I'm 35 days away from like one of the biggest moments in my life, should I be spending my energy trying to convince people who should be supportive to be supportive entirely? Especially when I see them like just actively kind of like advocating for people and platforms that are very much against the LGBTQ plus community. Like it's so difficult and complex. But I won't lie, like it has really made me feel that deep well of loneliness that I've talked about for many years, like that. Because like when we are young LGBTQ plus people, or it doesn't have to necessarily be young, but when we are at a point in our lives where we are pretending to be someone we're not, like that creates like this incredible isolation where like you kind of just have to isolate yourself to feel some semblance of safety. And I've been rediscovering that like deep rooted need to kind of isolate myself because I mean, I've done all of this work, I've put in all this energy, and if the result is still not support that I'm getting, like then what else am I able to do other than manage people's access to me, or, manage my own energy output and just not have those conversations anymore with people, which is very like it's very opposite of my educator activist brain that's always like, always trying to see the best in people. But sometimes I think we have to pick and choose our battles too. And right now we are living in a time where there is very powerful rhetorical tools being used against the LGBTQ plus community. And some people who have been exposed to those tools, who have kind of like fallen prey to them, like spending all that energy arguing with them is not going to bring them back necessarily right off the bat. And I think that's why I feel very resentful of the current time we're living in, is because, like, after all that work, all those years of work, to see that, the last 5 years and the rhetoric that has been thrown at the LGBTQ plus community has kind of like just reversed those people who have worked so hard, seemingly so, to be supportive. Maybe it just comes back down to like critical thinking too. Like having the knowledge to like look at these rhetorical things and be like, hey, I don't know. I don't know. All I know is that I'm so happy that I'm 35 days away from my wedding, but as it applies to my family, I don't think I have felt this lonely and isolated from them since I was coming out 15, 20 years ago. So, but you know what? I have been working really hard to remind myself that I am going to have one of the best days of my life. We both are. Our wedding is going to be beautiful. And the love that we have, the love that we've built for 7 years, the found friendships that have developed and blossomed in that time, our collective love is far more powerful than any sort of hate resulting from lack of support or performative allyship or this overarching rhetoric we see happening right now. That's what I've been trying to remind myself. And it's been providing me a lot of comfort. And I would say, like, also knowing that my energy is my own to expend. And if I choose to not expend it on those people who aren't showing up, who aren't being supportive, then I can use that energy to focus on my happiness. So, but it just shows you, even all these years later, 20 years after coming out, I'm still learning new things about gay loneliness, and I am realizing that it's always probably going to be a part of me, but my job is to know ways to unpack it and understand it and use that to help continue my momentum. So, anyway, I don't know if any of this made sense, but thank you for listening. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you, as always, for supporting my work. Click like for that pesky algorithm. Subscribe to my channel. And as always, thank you. I love you. Keep having these important conversations, because in a time when we have so many spaces trying to limit these conversations, I think we need them now more than ever. All right. Take care, everyone.